gonna start. Thank you everybody for coming. We're gonna start with the welcome. So I'll introduce myself. We will do in person since we're here, and then as people log on, we'll call out the names. I'm Bernadette Suarez from the city of Lawndale, also the board chair.
I'm Jackie Backrack. I'm the executive director.
Jake Romoff, project coordinator with the COG.
Debbie Stigora, I'm a city council member in Rolling Hills Estates, and I'm here in person because I thought that my assistant city manager was going to be here in person too, who's also on the agenda.
Hi, Marta Segovia, Senior Project Manager with the COG.
Hi, Agnes, admin analyst at the city of El Segundo.
Diego Asensio, I'm an assistant engineer at the city of Rancho Palos Verdes.
And I'm Jeremiah, also with City of Rancho Palos Verdes for the Public Works Department.
Start with Alexa.
Hi, Alexa Davis, Assistant City Manager that is not on site but had to do virtual today. My apologies.
Wally,
Wally Simbat, Research Director with the COG.
Paul,
Paul Samaras with the city of El Segundo, Principal Planner.
Augustine,
Augustine Preciado, City of Torrance, IT Manager.
Lucas,
Lucas Buckwold, IT Manager, City of Rancho Palos Verdes.
Mark Henderson, Mayor Pro Tem, City of Gardena. Good afternoon, all.
Ken,
Hi, Ken Bale, Senior Management Analyst at City of Hermosa Beach.
Ken. You'll go to Deborah.
Deborah, Human Resources Manager for City of Lomita.
It's a little unclear. Did you?
Lomita.
Lomita, okay. Alex,
Alex Pinto, City Gardena, IT Director.
James,
James Turner, City of Los Angeles, Lava World Airports.
I think we covered everything.
Ian.
Ian, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. Ian McCarthy with the City of Torrance, Public Works Management Assistant.
Perfect. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming out. So we're going to start by going over the cities that currently use AI in their cities.
Can I just give a little introduction?
Yeah.
Okay, the way we start at the COG, what we try to do is provide information to you to help you with your job so that we can learn together and we all don't need to go and find that information separately. So as an example, when social media got to be something that cities needed to understand, we formed a social media committee and we brought in speakers and we learned together, we asked questions. And then when people said, okay, well, now we know, we stopped. So we thought AI is at that place where we're all sort of learning about it, but it's got good, it's got bad. And instead of everybody trying to learn separately, maybe we can work together and learn together. So what we wanted to do today is determine, talk about, which is the next item, what cities are doing, some of the stories with cities. And so if your city's doing something and you're not on here, please let us know. But then also we wanted to make sure to brainstorm about what it is that would help you in your job. Is there a speaker we can get from, Google contacted us yesterday and they do series and things, what would be helpful to you in your job? So really, please, as you're listening to these things, think about your part of this agenda, which is telling us how we can help you. So with that, I'll thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Then, so we're going to start by going through each of the cities that currently use AI and how they're using it. So we'll start with the city of Rolling Hills Estates. Alexa, if you want to take it away.
Sure. So we started exploring AI probably a year and a half ago as far as how can we utilize it in the city to develop and create efficiencies. And the first step, though, that we did is we did develop a policy. We felt that, some employees may be using AI, and we wanted to give permission, but to develop parameters. So that's what kind of our first steps in developing the policy, a little research on some of the cities that had adopted it. And so we went through the city council, we talked through what priorities were with the council, and then we brought a policy to the council. I think it was September, October of last year. Since that time, it's kind of set those parameters, you know, the ethical parameters, the importance of having a human connected to your what you're generating, some general do's and don'ts and that kind of thing. And then right now we're in the testing phase, just seeing what different AIs are useful, what are most secure. We are using AI kind of content generation, but more so as far as like social media content, maybe summarizing some of the information that we already have that we're putting in, not really sourcing it through AI sources. Also doing, you know, presentations, taking from our staff reports and things like that. So that's kind of the general use. And then we're also testing a system for minutes preparation as well. So we're still very much in the early phases. And I'm happy to talk more about our policy and everything or share. We have a website because it was important to our council and staff that we are transparent in the use of AI. But we also are, I would say, the challenge is we're a small staff. And so for me and I think our council, it's really important that we're teaching the team how to responsibly use it. But we need to know what resources are out there, and it would be wonderful to have some kind of facilitators to come in and talk through it. I feel like I have a pretty, I mean, I don't have an IT background, but I have a pretty, based on the research I've done and some of the classes I've taken, I have a decent knowledge to teach staff, but it's also when I have a lot of other things going on, it's hard to carve out that time. And so that's kind of where we're stuck a little bit, is just making sure staff is utilizing the resources that are available and have the opportunity to know what are the best generative AI tools out there, what makes sense for city government versus, you know, somebody out in the business corporate world. And so those are some of the things that we're still fine tuning.
Alexa, would you identify the tool you're using or tools and how much you pay for them?
We're pretty low budget right now. So we started off, a few of us, using Perplexity AI. One of the biggest pieces were we wanted to know what references it was pulling, if it was pulling references and not taking our own content. So Perplexity AI offered that tool. They actually have transitioned to having a government platform. But ChatGPT has evolved, of course. And so ChatGPT now has the reference tool as well. And so we're starting to dabble in that. So Perplexity AI is like was $100. I think they have a government platform that's free now. And then the ChatGPT that we have, oh, I can't remember off the top of my head. It's less than $1,000, I believe, right now. We believe that to have and I would look forward to learning from everybody, to have it be customized to us, to have a paid version. It adds some certain layers of security and safeguards. So, but we are looking at, you know, what other options. I don't remember. There is a specific minutes AI, and I don't remember exactly offhand what that name is, but I can get that to you here in a second. I just have to look back at my file.
And then as far as your policies around the usage of AI, where did you base that off of? Oh, Alexa? Yeah, you're on mute.
Sorry, my screen my mute button disappeared. I have to brush off my history and my research, but we looked at a few cities that have AI adopted policies previously. So San Jose, I believe Boston, and did just kind of a dive into some of their resources and research that they did. Also, we looked at San Jose has started an AI coalition, so we've started to connect there and learn different resources through that. And then there's another AI, actually, I think it was It was absolutely out of the General Assembly. The Maricopa Assistant City Manager, I started following him. I've taken his, he has a few courses that he's offering as well. So just started tapping into the different resources. And I think in my policy, I'll pull it up and share the link, but I believe my policy also gives a few resources and references that we used.
I was just gonna say that, because I remember that we were all at the General Assembly where we had the focus on
I think
AI.
we did, yes.
And that kind of germinated, well, our city really should have a policy, and I think that Alexa got a really good ideas and some good contacts out of that.
Great, great. And it was Micah Gaudet that we had as a speaker.
Yes, that's who it was.
Mhm.
Excellent. Any other questions?
I do want to make a disclaimer. Other cities might be using AI, but these are the ones we knew about. So if your city's using it, don't think we left you out. We want to hear what you're doing.
Okay, thank you so much. We're gonna go on to the next city, City of Ranchos Palos Verdes. I think I saw in the chat that Lucas wasn't able to talk, but I don't know if Catherine's here as well.
I didn't see. You said you're from Rancho Palos Verdes.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah,
Did
can
you want to
speak?
give a?
I can share certainly from Public Works perspective. Lucas is our IT manager, so he may know more citywide policies and whatnot. But for Public Works, we've identified a handful of ways that AI has been helpful to our workflow. So when we process geospatial data, oftentimes in order for us to get that to a usable state, it requires some tedious work that may take, staff half a day or so to process. So none of us having a coding background, we rely on GPT to write the Python code and modules to automate some of that process. And GPT is an excellent coder, so we'll reference GPT for data processing and data management. And one of the other things that more personally I've used is, and I'm subscribed to the Chat GPT, like that secondary tier. So I've built kind of my own bot with certain limitations and guardrails, and I've provided it local, state, and federal regulations that are pertinent to Public Works. And I've also given it like national standards in engineering so that it's able to, let's say if I'm interested in construction of a sidewalk, it can list all relevant codes and regulations and national standards fairly quickly for me. And I can use that to reference the design and do a plan check and things like that.
So with tier 2, you're able to build your own bot.
I will have to look back at it. What tier is it's that? I think it's that $100 a month kind of tier.
There's a customization and
Yeah, you can build your own version. Yeah.
Interesting. And when you say build your own bot, is that for you personally? Can everyone in the city have their own bot on their one plan?
Sure.
Interesting.
Did everybody see that Lucas put something in the chat?
Yeah, I put our RHE put our page that talks about AI on our IT webpage, and then also the policy directly. And just to note, the policy we referenced City of Boston and City of San Jose as mentioned, and the other one was City of Los Altos Hills.
One of the things we can do is for everybody that's here today, we can send you everything that was in the chat.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. Okay.
Okay. We'll go to.
Can I ask a question? I had heard that Rancho Palos Verdes is also using it for your planning, the history of all the planning?
That I would be unfamiliar with from Public Works.
Lucas would know then.
Yeah.
Okay. Find out.
Okay, no worries. We'll go on to City of Gardena. Looks like Alex is going to be leading that discussion. Alex Pinto.
Hi, everybody. So Gardena's doing a various amount of things with AI for the past 2 years. I actually have my developer team behind me in the room. So there was a lot of us, and so it was hard to bust this all over to be there in person. Sorry about that. Kent, and my background here, Kent Brandt's our network engineer. We've been using multiple facets of AI, whether it's generating web pages on our central internal and external portals on our website. We have our own GitHub development portal that we have multifaceted development projects going on with multiple AI, not just ChatGPT, but multiple engines. Kent, what was the three that you mentioned?
Croak.
We use Croak, Claude Server,
And Gemini.
and Gemini, both in combination. Currently within our own development cycle. And I wouldn't say we can show you some of this stuff because we have it generating code for us as well that we can probably share later. We were thinking of doing something like that a little more open with everybody, but this is a good start to have this conversation today. I think we've been on this for about, what, 2 years now?
Yeah, 2 years where we're using it over in as a WordPress plugin.
Yeah. Doing things like informative public bots responses, digging information out of our website, multiple others to present that for locale data. We've used it for generative coding within our own shell scripting all over the place for quite some time now. You were asking about costs. Some of it's free on the free tier, and some of it, yeah, it's about that same $100 a year tier. It seems like everybody else is in right now as far as costing. So it's not nothing too bad or nothing too extravagant for most people to get into. It's just a matter of understanding a defined use for it. In our case, we were kind of specific of what we used it for, but that's, I'm sure, different from city to city.
Hey, this is Mark Henderson, Mayor Pro Tem City Guardian. Thank you for that, Alex. I also wanted to add some more commentary to how we envision using it at the policy level. Now, we have not developed an overall AI policy. One of the directives we've been trying to get staff is to get some comfort level with it, outside of IT. So as I envision it, and speaking with the council, more available to respond to community concerns and issues and walk-ups and stuff like that, where the AI tool can just provide information. It's kind of like, frequently asked questions, you get your thing, but we get a bot responding to some of these issues. So we're not tying people up at counters and different things like that. Also, because we're such a small city, to have our staff learn to use it in a lot of the mundane administrative tasks in regards to note-taking and minute development and and all these things, is because it's not the savior for all of us. AI is just a tool. You still have to have some competency in the content of the information and the data that it's creating, because AI does hallucinate quite a bit. So if your staff has to be aware that they just can't turn it on and let it provide all the answers. There still has to be some scrutiny. So we want our staff to be a little bit more proficient at it, because then it creates more time for them to service their community, our community, a little bit more rapidly, versus always being on the phone and always being tied up with a lot of mundane tasks that could be done through an automated tool.
When you said, Alex, that you could demonstrate something for us, what kind of thing were you thinking of? Is it there?
Yep, sorry, taking us off mute here as well.
Our forms engine.
And we can show you our forms engine right now that we have set up for, actually, we're literally in the middle of migrating it to a new server tonight. So we actually shut it off for tonight, but if you would like a letter scheduled demo with everybody, we can show you our internal forms library that we developed for the police department specifically using this coding engine. And we were able to translate things like their internal jail logs forms, reporting to the state for their on-body sworn camera system. So we have state reporting engines now set up that were built. Parking permitting and parking review for internal for PD. And what this was is a lot of driven need that they were brought to us as far as them trying to stay compliant with state agency and federal reporting. So what we went ahead and did is, we use AI to help us quickly build the code base to get these form engines reporting going in a standardized code, which we were gonna publish to a GitHub for other people to get to eventually. But right now, we just haven't, you caught us right now on our vacation day, so the server is actually off. I can probably show you that in a week or so, if you'd like.
Noted.
Thank you.
And just like Mark was saying, we were using things like chatbots on our website for some time, for about a couple of years. They wanted a separate engine, so we're letting a third party take care of that part specifically, but we still write a lot of our base code like for WordPress out of the back.
Other questions? Okay. We're gonna go on to City of Hawthorne. Either Eric or Josh, if you wanna.
Or Mike Cook and the other person. And he came in, we don't know where they're from. They didn't introduce themselves.
Okay. Doesn't look like they're on there. Is anybody else from Hawthorne here?
Oh, Mike Cook is from Redondo.
Okay. Doesn't look like right now, but are there any other cities that wanna give us a update on how you're using AI in your city?
I'll jump in if you like.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure. So I'm Mike Cook. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm the IT director for City of Redondo. It sounds like we're probably a little bit behind what some of these other cities are going through. We too are in the process of developing a policy and have got a draft policy going to my department heads this coming week, next week. I too stole from the city of San Jose, although I did a couple other, I did look at a couple other policies from other cities around the country. There's not very many in California that actually have a published AI policy. And what I'll say is that, like, I'm a former CISO, so I'm pretty risk averse. Like, a lot of mine is kind of focusing on the use of tools that have been reviewed and approved and have gone through all of the right procedures to actually get on the okay list before we actually authorize staff to using them. What I'm finding is that we have departments that are just going out there and signing up for free tools and starting to put city data in there. And the problem with that is, of course, you get what you pay for. Those free tools are all sharing your information with their investors and marketing teams and that sort of thing. So we're trying to kind of first wrangle the rogue usage of AI before we dive too deep in this. The city does have a few authorized applications. It seems like the one that has kind of risen to the top for us is within our police department. So we are using AI within our video system. We have Verkada. We're doing a pilot of a tool that can actually look at our Axon body camera footage and draft police reports based off of your body camera footage that we just signed the paperwork for. And then we've got some AI that is built into our drone program that is doing things like analyzing what's in the drone footage and what's within our catalogs and trying to pinpoint events and send drones to locations in real time based off of information that's coming into those platforms. So some pretty cool stuff there. And then kind of outside of the department specific stuff is that I am taking a look. I've test driven a number of, I'll call them administrative AI tools, the general purpose office tools, the chat GTPs, the co-pilots, the Geminis. The one that does seem to be rising to the top of that pile for us is definitely chat GTP. We have found it to be the best at writing. And we have, found it to do some pretty good research. We are using within the IT team to write things like PowerShell scripts and things on the fly, things that would have taken, minutes or hours in the past are now taking just a mere matter of seconds for us to run through the tool and at least get a draft that we can work with and work towards a solution. So, I'd call us kicking the tires, although we're pretty serious about getting that policy in place, and I'd imagine we'll have it in place by January or so. And, really looking forward to learning to what other cities are doing and learning from the experience of others and, hopefully contributing to this group as well.
Annie, I saw you joined our call. Did you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, yeah, I'm also on Mike's team, Redondo IT. Just here to learn so far, not much to contribute.
Okay, welcome.
Yeah, and I'll throw in, since Annie said hello, is that we are also in the process of doing a proof of value of some of the Amazon Web Services tools. The Amazon Web Service has some interesting stuff in this area, and they have pitched to us the concept of being able to take an unclassified document of effectively any type, analyze it, figure out what kind of document it is, bounce it against our record retention policy, and if we need to keep it long-term, snag the metadata out of it and throw it into our Laserfiche repository. So over the course of the next couple months or so, I'm excited to see if that thing actually lives up to what it is being advertised as. Some interesting stuff taking place there. We do have one other person that I think has, volunteered on this. It's our councilman from our District 1, Brad Waller. I don't actually see him on the call, but I do know that he's very interested in this and certainly sends his regards. So you'll be seeing Brad's name associated with our city as well.
I see Demai has joined. If you'd want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, Damai with DKS Associates. I'm a regional director of ops and technology. We have deployed a few AI models in our practice and just want to listen into what the agencies and jurisdictions are doing with AIs and stuff like that, and review them for ITS asset inventory management with an agency in the Northwest. So yeah. Thank you.
And then I guess I can say what Lawndale's doing. I think in the last month, we just got a chat bot to basically answer on our website questions people may have. So it's still being fed information, but we don't have a policy, which is one of the things I think is very important. And also I like what was said about a lot of cities are utilizing it for administrative tasks, such as the meeting minutes, which I think is kind of a no-brainer. Most companies, like the ones I work for, they're using that for the meeting minutes since they can capture it so easily. So yeah, we're only using the chat bot right now for Lawndale.
You're on Granicus for the website?
No, I can't remember what our website is. It's not Granicus though. I can't remember which one they used. We did it a while back. I think they did an add-on feature and I can't remember what company it was. But it was very minimal cost. Probably like the $100 one that everyone's talking about.
Is it? I was going to talk about Rolling Hills, but it's a completely different thing.
Oh, that might be, I think they, it was mentioned.
Yeah, well, I was gonna, about an hour ago, we learned something that I thought was not the city use of AI, but what happened to a city from AI. And I thought it would be, since you're all here, I thought it would be interesting. It's the city of Rolling Hills. And in Rolling Hills, apparently, people that had applications before the Planning Commission, which is public record, who has applications for the plan. Have you heard about this? People who had applications for the Planning Commission received a letter and it said, subject application, I'm not going to say the specific, but it says application approval fee, zoning case, and it listed the zoning case and the address. And it said, dear Miss Jim, whatever, I hope this message finds you well. This correspondence concerns your pending application before the City of Rolling Hills Planning Commission zoning case, and the zoning case. As outlined, the case involves, and it goes through what the case was. And then it says, we are pleased to inform you that city staff has reviewed your submission and has recommended approval of your application pending settlement of the attached invoice for the application approval fee. Once the administrative step is completed, your case will be proceed to finalization in accordance with the city's standard processing procedures. To complete this process, please kindly take the following steps. Reply to this email to request invoice settlement instructions, settle the attached invoice as soon as possible at your earliest convenience, return a copy of the payment confirmation along with a signed copy of the invoice via email for confirmation and documentation purposes. Please note that due to recent processing delays and issues with non-sufficient funds, the city is unable to accept check payments for these fees. Alternative secure methods will be provided or whatever. It says we appreciate your prompt us attention to this matter. Should you have any questions regarding your case, do not hesitate to call us. And then it lists the name of the city manager, but it says planning director. And that is completely not coming from the city. So it's just amazing because what I was told, I don't have the actual invoice. It's very official looking. And they think that what happened is somebody swept up all their public planning commission applications and sent out those notices.
Here's that one example.
This is the one example I got
And,
today.
and they said you can't pay by check where they give transfer instructions or something.
It said, it says alternate secure payment methods will be provided upon your request for settlement instructions. But then I don't know how you request, I guess you could use the app. Actually, it looks like there's a name of somebody in Palos Verdes Estates, maybe.
It was a letter, not an email.
Is it a letter? Okay.
Mail
Yeah.
letter.
Yeah, so you've heard about it, but it's really scary, you know, that somebody's using the public record to do this. So and those are the kinds of things we also want to do in this group is talk about things we should be cautious about and what do you do about that?
That's food for thought, Alexa, because we just launched that app that has, eventually any resident's going to be able to see the status of planning applications.
They can pick it up off the
And
agenda.
they scrape
I
it
was
off
gonna
there.
say, I wonder if they just got that off the agenda packet. That's kind of what I was curious about.
She was convinced it was like, right, somehow the AI was fed their
Well, it's
public documents.
Yeah, she was saying it was from the public documents that they have. Yeah. So it's just another example of a use of AI with cities, but not your use.
And then I did find out it's Civic Live is our website, and it looks like they're using chat.ai for the bot. So that's what but yeah, so if there are any other cities that want to give input, if not, what this was meant for is for a roundtable discussion to come up with the things that cities are looking to utilize, how we can leverage AI, the concerns that are had with AI implementation, security and whatnot. So if there are, we felt this would be a good venue since we're all kind of, it sounds like, looking at AI to do the same things. And so it'd be worthwhile just to have, a centralized effort on this piece of work. So I don't know if there are any questions or any things that we want to look into. And then we kind of wanted to see how to format future meetings to further explore this.
I want to make a suggestion in regards to that is to kind of make the work real simple for all of us is to kind of figure out if we all have adopted a policy and then yes or no to look at a few variations of policy so we can see what best fits our city and then maybe list the functions within a city and see, for instance, public works, planning commission, council, city clerk, admin, if you have a transportation, what if those departments would need a tool, an AI tool, and if they do, which ones would be best suitable? And then we can kind of just all kind of look at those and figure what we're using, what we're not using, how we use it for our external interface with the community via social media or website stuff, how we use it internally as staff, as far as communicating amongst or between the departments, and like Gardena IT, how they use it internally as far as their functioning and different things like that. So we just kind of categorize and start with, does your city even care to use AI? Yes or no? If yes, does your city have a policy? Yes or no? If yes, what is your policy in development, or this is ours right here or something like that? So we kind of go through a flow chart and we all just kind of can go through and figure out what's the best procedure to move forward with.
And if I may add, I think that's a great idea that perhaps as we do meetings, we take one bite at the apple at a time. So maybe one meeting's focused on policy. We said, you know, our policy is just the first step, but we know that there will be future iterations because it evolves so quickly. So, you know, we would be looking at even updating a policy. So what are the important components of a policy? And, you know, having one meeting that kind of workshops that, and then another meeting maybe just directed to HR AI and how are cities utilizing it and what systems are out there, and one meeting associated with public works. And so you just kind of have a meeting that is like very topic specific to a function. I think that would be helpful because then we can also bring along, you know, for me, I'm just kind of the generalist, but I can bring along my public works manager to that particular meeting, my community development director and public works director at those meetings. So I think that would be a really great path toward the continued discussion.
I want to highlight what Alexa said, and I give full credit to Alexa for driving this bus, this whole AI bus. She really took the initiative and realized we needed to have a policy. She got the information and drafted it and presented it to council. But yes, it is, it's a policy, so it's easily changeable. And it was not intended to be the end all. And as AI changes and the threats become apparent, et cetera, I think it's important to keep abreast of those and keep on refreshing that policy. And for me as a council member, when it came to our city council to approve, pretty much the most critical factor for me in the policy was that whatever is generated by AI has got to be reviewed by humans. That should be the backstop.
And then one question and concern that I had is you keep hearing about the amount of energy that it takes to utilize AI. And so I know we are focused on, you know, sustainability and whatnot. I don't know if there's someone that can speak to, you know, how it works. And, you know, you hear all these stories about it. And so I'm just a little more curious about that too, that component of it.
So we can look for experts in these. If you know of speakers or companies that you think we should invite, that would be really helpful because we don't want to reinvent, you know, and go looking for that. So this is the whole purpose of this is to share resources and then we can bring those resources to you.
Jackie, this is Alex. That's true, but remember that with every developer, it's only specific to an application that they're developing. So if you pull somebody in that's not Google or ChatGPT, you're going to get a presentation on a specific product,
right?
Not AI in a, how do I use it for a city general sense, right? So whoever you're bringing in, you may want to just go up to the upper echelons and tap Google and get them to do a Gemini demo versus them coming in and showing off how Cisco's using AI or how whatever note taker you want to pick a flavor of, right? That is only specific for that application purpose and it's only specific to them. If that's okay with the group, then let's go get 30 vendors in here and I'm sure we can make a day out of it. But if you're looking for more development side, that's a very different branch, right? I think everybody can agree on the technical side.
I can tell you on RHE, I would be interested in the different developers and the different systems out there, but I agree that they'll come and they're going to sell their, you know, their system. I know there's one, some of you may have already connected. It was new in 2022 called Hamlet and is very specific to local government. I think he's a wealth of resource and we've met with him and he's at a lot of conferences and it's great. But of course his interest is selling his platform. I think I mean, I don't know if it's this group or another group, I think there's an opportunity to learn from all of these people, but I think there's just a lot of information to be talking about. So maybe that's like phase 2 after we get through all this initial discussion.
What you're saying about the policy is you used other policies, but did those policies from like San Jose get developed in-house or is there a consultant that does policies?
And then in the chat, there was a comment about the Municipal Information Systems Association of California looking at a policy. So maybe that would be a resource.
Yeah, I can elaborate on that a little bit, is that they've got a working group that probably has between 6 and 8 cities from around the state that all have IT directors and the like, helping contribute to some like a basic policy outlines and guidelines. And they're using City of San Jose as an example, as well as a few others. We had a conference last week and they were speaking about it. They are unfortunately a few weeks away from sharing their drafts, but very much excited to see what they come up with.
Well, I think I mentioned, but we don't have anything yet, but somebody from Google actually talked to us yesterday and said that they do seminars or whatever at their plant in Playa Vista. They give tours and seminars, and he was going to send us information. Is that something that you would be interested in if we hear back? So that's one thing. The other thing I wanted to mention is we have a council member who is a cybersecurity expert. And we are already planning on January 22nd at 4 o'clock to have a meeting on cybersecurity that he will be doing. And he's bringing in FBI agents who will also be here to talk about that. So those are two things that we're already doing that are sort of, I mean, we're not doing Google yet, we're doing the cybersecurity.
Wally?
Yeah, hi. The county is when the FBI guys come, we should all bring our passports. When the county just had a big conference on this, and they're way down the line on AI application, and you might want to start with that county representative to come and talk, because they covered a wide range of applications and what their policy is and how each department can come forward and say, I want to do this sort of, I want to use this tool, and what are the guidelines and so forth like that. So just suggesting we might want to reach out to them and see what they can tell us.
Getting a sense that a lot of us are interested in the policy portion of it, as policy makers too. So we can explore that, and then it sounds like everybody wants to first kind of develop that with the guidelines just to protect ourselves. But a lot of this sounds like we want to do some more learning too.
Yes.
A lot more learning.
Any other specific, listen, you can always send ideas to me as you think of them. I would love to, like if there's a contact with Hamlet and you think that is a good thing, send it and we'll try to stack all these things together and figure out how to do future meetings. But the question, I guess, would be then how often do you want to do this? Is this a good time for everybody? What is this? This is the. This is the 15th.
When is going right into the holidays?
Yes, no, it probably would be, January 22nd is the cybersecurity meeting, but.
Did we think this is something we want to do quarterly or more often? To start with. I think we can start with quarterly. These seem to be a little more learning.
The one thing, but we can also, if you send something to me, I can send it out to everybody.
Yeah. And if we could see,
so this is a Thursday afternoon at 3:30. So. Do you like the hybrid or?
I think the hybrid's useful.
Yes.
Okay, better next time, if I could.
And one thing too, that was an interesting note is law enforcement seems to be utilizing that. So.
And I think drones are interesting because I know the county uses drones for planning. Get into like canyons and areas.
So does Esri.
Well,
I guess, yeah.
Would they be good?
They're using a lot of drones for mapping. I'm not sure how integrated they are with AI, but could be interesting to hear from some of the softwares about how they're integrating AI.
Yeah.
Features.
Drones for us public works, or it's more broadly on the AEC side, it's been fairly widely adopted now for surveying needs.
Yeah.
So when we're surveying difficult terrain,
Right.
drones are a great tool. And now there's an integration component with AI where AI is able to draw CAD for you based on like the photogrammetry that you see from drones. So I know that interface is pretty, it may not be widely utilized with AI, but I know at least the drones themselves, number of our surveyors specifically use drones for surveying needs.
I know AI is, it's kind of, what's it called, two things clash, an oxymoron.
Yeah.
AI is being used a little bit for utilities for energy demand management. But then the savings from the demand management, is it worth it for the energy use from the AI?
That would be
Yeah.
interesting.
So just like, when is AI worth it? Might be an interesting topic to look into.
What tasks should be given to
Yeah.
AI versus
Where's AI
others and the
appropriate?
cost benefit analysis of that.
Well, if there's any lingering questions too, feel free to send them over. And that's something that can always be explored. Otherwise, I think we'll try and locate someone that can maybe speak to the group and then set another meeting date. So be on the lookout and invite, your colleagues.
Yeah, I can't imagine we'll do something before January. And I can't imagine you want us to do anything before January, but something probably in January we'll have to do.
Otherwise, thank you, everybody on the call and.
Thank you, everyone online.